you can charge a certain price for your menu, but do your menu actually live up to your price? I think it's something very sensitive to talk about, but I'm just gonna talk about it because if you're gonna charge that price, I think people sometimes gonna expect your experience gonna live to that exact price. And I think it's a very important part to retain your customers, because for restaurants in Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore in general, you open a new restaurant, of course, yes, there's a group of people coming to your restaurants for the first few months because it's something really fresh and they're really dying to try it. But then if the experience didn't really live up to their standard, would they come back again? I'm not so sure.
And if they don't come back again, you've not got a viable business on your hands. It's like one of those things, it's like it pops up for a year and then doesn't have enough new customers. You run out of new customers is what I'm saying.
Hello, welcome to another episode of our podcast in video form. Today we want to touch on something more about the future because we are almost ending 2023 and going to 2024. So we want to do some of our thoughts and prediction on the F&B trend in 2024.
Specifically around fine dining.
Yeah, I mean, for like just talk about right now, right? Like in short term, we do hear quite a few feedback about our clients or like our industry friends telling us that like fine dining has been struggling lately in Hong Kong because it seems that less and less people willing to spend, let's say, 1.5K plus Hong Kong dollar per person for their dinner. But I heard that you read something quite interesting about the fine dining industry for the next few years.
Yeah. So I read that the global fine dining industry or sub-industry is expected to rise like steadily until 2027, which is really surprising because I think obviously, you know, we're very regional. We're headquartered in Hong Kong. We operate in Singapore too. So what we see, I suppose, is a lot more regional. So yeah, it kind of goes against like what we've seen on the ground, which is like Hong Kong's having a really hard time for fine dining. A lot fewer, you know, international tourists coming in that's spending big on dining and at all coming into Hong Kong. And domestically, people are spending more on travel after being cooped up for 3.5 years. So yeah, I did think that was interesting, actually.
Yeah, I read an interesting article yesterday about Korea actually facing the same problem as Hong Kong.
Oh, really?
They have a lot of people after the pandemic really like try to travel. They travel a lot, but the people traveling out and the people coming to visit is a very big difference. So it's same as Hong Kong, where now it seems that there's discussion around that there are so many people going to travel, but not many people coming in to visit. I think that's actually one of the first thing about fine dining, that maybe less international travelers in the short term. But then I think another thing that I definitely see in fine dining is people start changing their perception and mindset about fine dining. Fine dining, maybe growing for millennials and Gen Z, they definitely want to look for something more authentic and something more experience driven, but at the same time not necessarily spending like previously, like when you go on fine dining you can go from 2 to 3K per person, but maybe nowadays people are looking for something like roughly 1K per person and have a great experience, or maybe with a lot strong story to tell as well. Maybe it's like a full vegetarian menu that created very great, or maybe it's like farm to table, etc.
Yeah, I think they're all kind of, there's a lot of up and coming, I suppose, niches or like maybe marketing points, I think is a better word for it. So I think the first one is like experiential, as you just touched on just then. I think that's becoming like a really big point. So there's like a couple of restaurants in Hong Kong, for example, that they have like projections all through the dinner and stuff. And so you're kind of like living in a story whilst eating, which is really interesting. What kind of other experiential?
I mean, touch on the restaurant you talk about. Are you talking about the
Yeah.
private dining room? Oh yeah, actually that was quite interesting. So basically this restaurant have a private dining room, and then they have a projector on the top, and then on the side the room is like, how to say it, like
Cylindrical.
And then where you can have like all these animations from the projector to the screen. and then each menu is actually with a great experience. For the restaurant, they actually focus a lot more on Chinese cuisine. So with different like dynasty, like for example, like the Chinese like Song dynasty, and then they have the whole menu inspired by period of time of China. I think actually like this kind of dining has definitely gaining more and more interest, especially among the younger crowds.
I'm trying to think what other kind of experiences. Like, I think there's things like, you know, live performances is another one. What
I
else?
think four hands dinner is actually still a
That's true.
thing because people still loved doing the four hands with chefs, seeing the two chefs interact with each other. Like when you're doing the four hands dinner, it's kind of feeling like it's like a one-time only experience where you rarely would see the two chefs collab with each other. First, you will have of course, a very tasty meal because it's a creation of the two chefs, but you also see their interaction. And I think one thing that really attract people is that when they come and dine in at the restaurant, they would see them. Like they would get to see the chef and interact with them, taking pictures with them, and also to experience a great meal with your loved ones. And I think actually that's the fundamental of the four hands dinner is about human interaction. After years of COVID, I think we're already very tired of, you know, ordering from a screen and then just eating with at home. And I think people really dying to have something that get to able to be in touch with people.
I
I
also think it's largely about how much can be shared online because people want to always want to share their experiences,
Yeah.
right? Especially around like millennials, Gen Z, who are, you know, the new money that are going into all the industries, right? So like if there's something that's like visual, something that's really unique, and I can say, oh, I came and experienced this or something, I think that's massive. So like, I don't, this is kind of unrelated, I guess, but like I had an amazing experience at Heidi Lao recently, which I get
Yeah.
is not fine dining at all, but I mean, it can be, depends what you order, I guess. But anyway, it was like Disneyland. They had like a whole performance with the you know, like the traditional mask changing dance and things like that, and you know, and they have the noodles that they always have, and they toss it in your face and whatever. And I just thought this, you know, they really curated such an experience where it just felt really, you know, there's a lot of cues, you know, for social media sharing online or stories, whatever. But also it just, you know, it added so much to the experience. Because like my parents were just in town that weekend, right? And so this was like the first time they were kind of experiencing all this. And it really added to the experience. It was more than just like, oh, we're going for a hot pot. It's like,
Yeah, I think it's about when you creating. We always talk about that. Like we're saying that we love when it comes to restaurant, it can be a business or like running a restaurant as a business, or you can also running the restaurant as a concept.
correct.
When you're running the restaurant as a concept, how can you actually link your restaurant story with your actual experience online? I think in this modern age, just having a great menu is definitely not enough. You definitely need more to curate the overall experience. A very wise man used to tell me when it comes to curate experience is to curate the five senses. So it's not just about the food, not just about what you taste, but also about how you see the environment, like how's the interior look like, and also about how's the music like. In fact, you actually have people specialized curating restaurant playlist. And I think this is something that people overlook. When you go
Massively.
to an amazing restaurant with amazing interior, amazing food, oh my God, and the music is Spotify top 50 global music. It just doesn't work,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
That's why you have these people specialized curating the playlist specifically for your restaurants. Yeah. So I think in the future this is just getting more and more important because when you come to when nowadays when people go into restaurant, they're not just expecting great food. They are also expecting an amazing experience curated by the restaurant. They are excited to experience your concept.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's the differentiator, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
terminology of what defines a concept versus a restaurant. You know, I keep coming back to this, but I think, you know, in the day of like social media where it's so prevalent, you know, everyone's spending hours a day on social media, right? I think if you think about like a restaurant versus a concept, people who are going to a concept are going to share about it online. They're going to get all this extra free advertising. In fact, advertising that's paying them because the customer's coming in, sharing about it online, and then paying the bill. Versus a restaurant that's not going to get any of that really exposure unless they were like, forcing it from themselves. So that's what I definitely think, we're going to be turning a lot more towards concept dining. And that, I suppose, links back to the kind of rise of experiential dining, which we were talking about, right?
Yeah, because like when it comes to fine dining, right? Like people, I think sometimes like when we facing our clients or just facing like our industry friends or just restaurants in general, you can charge a certain price for your menu, but do your menu actually live up to your price? I think it's something very sensitive to talk about, but I'm just gonna talk about it because if you're gonna charge that price, I think people sometimes gonna expect your experience gonna live to that exact price. And I think it's a very important part to retain your customers because for restaurants in Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore in general, you open a new restaurant, of course, yes, there's a group of people coming to your restaurants for the first few months because it's something really fresh and they're really dying to try it. But then if the experience didn't really live up to their standard, would they come back again? I'm not so sure.
And if they don't come back again, you've not got a viable business on your hands. It's like one of those things, it's like it pops up for a year and then doesn't have enough new customers. You run out of new customers, is what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
because like you talk about like so as a restaurant, how's the experience really live up to the price is very important. Why we always going back to Hai Di Lao, for example, it's not necessarily just about the food. It's great. The food is great. The food in general is like really live up to the standard, very consistent, which is also a thing, very consistent. And then after it's being consistent on top, I feel really special. I'm not sure if you've seen someone dine in alone there. They actually have a fluffy toy for that person to sit together with them. That's how thoughtful they are. If you're wearing white shirt, they will give you an apron. If you have long hair like me, they will give you a rubber band. This is how thoughtful they are when it comes to curating their experience. And I think not saying everyone need to do it in this scale, but if you, let's say if a restaurant you are doing more like trendy or even like fine dining, then maybe you should consider more on that and on top of you have an amazing menu. So that's just a bit of like,
Yeah,
my
yeah. And I
thoughts.
think, we're coming to a sort of age where that should be, doable for every restaurant almost. We're living in the age where every restaurant has its, POS. Most have a reservation system at least, which, can store all this information, all this behavior. Then looking into that, you can start to personalize experiences, and it's going to become more expected as well in the coming, years. Personalized, bespoke experiences. So not just about, you know, oh, like this is the menu or whatever. It's about, oh, this person has like, is vegetarian or is vegan or doesn't eat a very specific, combination of ingredients. Then they're going to need something bespoke. And I think that's also, relates to another movement, which is, a lot more people are becoming vegetarian and vegan and pescatarian and paleo and all these, different dietary requirements and things.
I mean, yeah, definitely like one thing about, getting to understand how your like repeated customers be like how they usually what they like, what they don't like is definitely important. And I think nowadays in the modern world restaurant reservation system can definitely help a lot. Like you mentioned, like doing the tag, doing the like giving certain tag for customers, having a special remark for the team, and I think it all comes down to like one of the most fundamental thing, which is not necessarily trend, but it's something that people in the modern age they start like neglecting is actual human interaction, and hospitality is about the team being hospitable, feeling special. And nowadays you have reservation system which can have a very advanced way for you to manage your database, to manage your client relations with you. Having special remark telling you like, oh, this person is actually pescatarian, this person doesn't eat beef, for example, and they come to your restaurant for multiple times already. How do we make sure that we create a special experience for them? And I think it also comes down to operation training, which we can dive in a lot more later on. But till the end of the day, I think apart from expecting to have a concept, they also wanted to feel special, and that's the reason why people coming back to your restaurant again and again. Yeah. You also briefly touched on vegetarian food. I think it's definitely going to be a big trend soon. I mean, sorry, I think it's already a big trend. Plant-based menu is definitely getting more and more.
Yeah, and I think it also kind of has like some level of overlap with sustainability, which I don't know, over the last couple years seems to have just exploded, you know, especially in like fine dining scenes where, you know, farm to table is becoming a lot more expected. And, you know, I think people are a lot more conscious of carbon footprints and such and any waste. So there's a lot more like, you know, restaurants that's like, you know, as I said earlier about, you know, what's their marketing point, whereas, you know, it might be experiential or whatever. But another one is sustainability, and it's massive. You know, even like the Michelin guide, right? They now have stars, like a green star, for restaurants that have gone, you know, above and beyond for sustainability and things. And it's such a movement. And I think that's something that's only, you know, starting. It's like, it's going to carry such momentum, I think, even down to, you know, like, for example, in Hong Kong, there's like urban farms. So like I went to one a few months ago,
Oh,
which
yeah, you had a great time there.
I had a great time. But they're farming, you know, Thai basil and stuff, which only can really be grown in, you know, Thailand and places. But they're, instead of importing it, they're just growing it inside, like indoors. You know, these massive vertical farms in industrial buildings and things, which is really amazing to see. And they've done a lot of R&D on many different types of crops. So there's all these like microgreens and vegetables and stuff that are, you know, kind of wouldn't ordinarily be grown in Hong Kong because it's not a very green place. It's very built up. There's not a lot of space, but they're growing it like in the most unlikely places, which is really cool. And you know, obviously, I think their client list would be mostly around, you know, these restaurants that share the same philosophy, which is around, you know, reducing the carbon footprint of importing various ingredients. So yeah, sustainability is another one that's going to be massive. What other points do we see, like marketing angles?
I
that are on
mean,
the
when
rise?
when it comes to sustainability, it's also like on the marketing or PR angle, it's also a good angle, but not just necessarily about like just the sustainability angle, because you mentioned a good thing about like people restaurants start to looking for like local ingredients, and using local ingredients, like no matter what kind of cuisine you're doing, using local ingredients into your menu can definitely create like some special dish or some signature dish to create a very strong stories. Our very good friend Miguel, he used to make a very tasty Mayo fish. Is he cook in a like it's Spanish cuisine, but then he dry aged the Mayo fish and cooked a really amazing dishes. And for our side as a PR and marketing marketer, we definitely can use it as a brand story to tell, because Maya fish in Hong Kong is definitely a home fish which my mom loved to cook to steamed, but they make it in a very creative way with a creative twist. But at the same time, it also touch on sustainability because you're lowering your carbon footprint, and you're also encouraging, you know, using local ingredients as well.
I think that kind of relates to food tourism as well. Like a lot of people, you know, when they go to other places or something, they want to eat the local food. That's the point, right? So if it's made of like local ingredients too, or locally sourced this and that, I think it, you know, it's really powerful for them too.
Yeah, I mean about the food tourism part, I think we should definitely do one episode about that.
Okay, fine.
Love to talk about it. You sent me a video that's very cool about the Thai government actually have a specific guideline to export their
Yeah,
dish.
their
We should
cuisine.
do a teaser now. We should let people like that. That is so cool because that video Kieran shared with me is
Yeah.
basically that Thai government have a specific guideline and training on how to export this of some of their famous signature food to the world.
We'll do another episode on this for sure because it's a whole rabbit hole, can of worms. It goes pretty deep, but that's really interesting. So just in short, you know, the Thai government basically trained all these restaurants around the world on cooking, you know, Thai food at a range of price points. So there's one that's like the lower level, mid level, and high, expensive, right? All in an effort just to export, you know, influence of Thai cuisine because then it makes more people want to go to Thailand and eat food.
Very
It's
interesting.
very interesting. We'll
Yeah.
go into that on another episode.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, thank you for watching our episode. I think this time we definitely like talk a lot about like the F&B trend and a lot of our personal experience.
Yeah,
So
sure.
Yeah, stay tuned for our next episode.